Okay, so it's the holiday season, and if you're anything like me, I find myself stressing out and scrambling last minute to figure out what I'm taking to my family Christmas. Don't worry, I've got you covered. This is my favorite recipe of cranberry jalapeno dip. So go ahead, click that subscribe button, and then let's get started. This recipe does take a little bit of thinking ahead because it takes 2 days to prepare. We're going to do the first part today, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it refrigerate overnight before finishing it tomorrow morning. Let's talk about the ingredients that we're going to need to make this cranberry jalapeno dip. First, you need one 12-ounce bag of cranberries. You want to sort through those cranberries. Go ahead and pull out any of the ones that look bad. By bad, I don't mean ones that have dents in them. They're going to have that. I mean ones that are squishy or soft and look a little bit like this. Those are the ones that you're going to want to pull out. We're going to need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 3/4 cup of sugar, 1 12-ounce container of whipped cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of cilantro, 1 jalapeno, and 1/4 cup of green onion. Make sure that your cilantro and green onion are rinsed off real well and dried off real well, and we'll go ahead and get started chopping these up. I'm going to start with the green onion, and I'm just going to cut the tips off of this before we get into the part that we want to use. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have a big family. My mom has 9 siblings, and at least 8 of those have 2 kids each. So when I make something, I make a lot of it. I'm going to take 1/4 cup of this green onion and set it aside. One of the things that I love about this recipe are the greens, the jalapeno, the green onion, the cilantro. They look gorgeous with the deep red of the cranberry, and it makes for a very festive holiday dish. Once we get this chopped up, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of it. And like I've said before, cooking is an art. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a heaping tablespoon. It can be a little more, a little less. Really your preference. And now, time to seed and cut up the jalapeno. A jalapeno is not one of the spiciest peppers. And as long as you get these seeds out, you're going to cut down on that heat index. I'm just going to kind of loosen all this up, and then I'll take a spoon and just scrape it to make sure I get everything out of the center. Adding just 1 jalapeno gives it great flavor without an overbearing heat. At my house, we have jalapeno plants, and we love to go out and just pick one off, cut it up to add it to tacos, burgers, although a fresh jalapeno is spicier than a pickled jalapeno. Chopping up vegetables is definitely not my favorite part of cooking. Again, I've said it before, I am not a chef. I just really love to eat. Now that we have all of those cut up, we'll clean off our area and get ready to start chopping up the cranberries. If you have a food chopper, that's a great product to use for this, but you don't want to use a food processor because it tends to make the cranberries real watery. Chopping cranberries can be a little tricky if you don't have a food chopper. So I just like to start out by cutting them in half. That way they're not rolling around all over your cutting board, and it makes for an easier process. This can be very time consuming. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about why Christmas and Thanksgiving are my favorite holidays. It's very simple. The food. I love to eat. My daughters think I'm crazy because they don't really care for the food. But when you have a family as large as I do, the options are endless. We get so many great recipes and new options every year that we get to try. Of course, we always have a lot of the same things as well, but the variety is fantastic. These cranberries were chopped by hand. That is so difficult for me. So I'm going to cheat a little, and I'm going to go ahead and use a chopper for the rest of this. I'm just going to add the cranberries to the chopper, screw on the lid, and start chopping. You're going to get a much more consistent size of the cranberry and texture whenever you use the chopper instead of hand cutting. We are adding the last little bit of cranberry to the bowl. And then we're going to start mixing all of our other ingredients together and get it ready to put in the refrigerator overnight. We have our 2 tablespoons of cilantro, our 1/4 cup of green onion, our jalapeno. I'm going to mix that up. See that color? I mean, if that doesn't say Christmas, I don't know what does. Now the sugar and the lemon. The sugar and the lemon mixture that we're going to soak these cranberries in overnight is going to draw the water out of those cranberries and leave us with a great flavor. The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm going to cut the lemon in half and use half of the lemon. And now I'm just going to mix all of that together. You want to coat the cranberries real well with that sugar and lemon juice. Make sure that there are no clumps because that sugar likes to clump up. You want to mix it up real well. Once the cranberry mixture is coated real well in the lemon juice and sugar, you don't see any white at the bottom of the bowl from the sugar sitting down there, you can go ahead and cover it up with saran wrap, stick it in the refrigerator overnight, and then we'll be back tomorrow to go ahead and finish up this recipe. We are back on day 2 of our recipe for cranberry jalapeno dip. We're almost ready to go to that holiday gathering, but first, let's finish up this dip. You're going to need a colander so that we can drain all of the liquid that came out overnight in the refrigerator with our cranberry mixture. Once we get this mixture strained, we're pretty much finished because we dump it on top of the cream cheese and have an amazingly delicious dip. I'm going to kind of flip this over, mix it up in the colander real well so that we can press out some more of that juice. The more moisture that you leave in this mixture, the runnier your dip is going to be. So you want to get as much of that out as possible. Here we have our cream cheese that we've spread into our bowl or dish, whichever one you choose, about 9 inches. 9 inches round, 9 by 9 square. And then we put the cranberry mixture on top. Spread it out. And that's it. You have a gorgeously festive holiday dip that's sure to be a hit with all of your family. Go ahead, like our video, and tune in again for our next edition of Cooking with Candace.